Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
Brethren, on Friday night, we dealt with something very serious. We broke and we ground the stubborn attackers into powder. And it was a very serious warfare. It was a great warfare. But you must know one thing, that the operations does not stop there. That's not yet the end of the whole matter. Because when you talk about attacks and attackers, attacks, when it prospers, leave some marks behind. When attack prospers, there is always an impact. There is always a consequence. There is always a damage left behind in the lives of the victims. So it's not just enough to say you have broken the attackers in pieces, you have ground them to powder, and that's the end of the case. No. There are other parts of the prayers. There are still more to do. And that's what we want to do today. Because those damages they caused us, those things they inflicted on us, there must be a remedy. And there must be a compensation. One thing you must know is that everything we do in the physical realm has its own spiritual version also. In the physical realm, if you attack somebody and you damage somebody's property or something in the life of somebody, there is a remedy. There's compensation. And it's entrenched in the law. But you know what? Human beings derive that law from the laws of God. They pick that law from the Bible. And as such, brethren, because the enemies have attacked us and they've caused us pains, some have even stolen from us. They've taken what belongs to us. They've deprived us of some things we ought to have been enjoying. There must be a compensation. And that's what we are dealing with today. I'm talking to you on what I call remedy and compensation for the attacks on you. Remedy and compensation for the attacks on you. The attacks the enemies attacked you. For all their wickedness, for all their attacks. It's not just enough that you fight them off. You destroy them, you break them, and they walk away like that. No, that's not how it should be. There must be a remedy. They must repair the things, the damages. There must be a compensation to repair the things they've caused you. Some of them even stole from us and deprived us of what we should be enjoying. So if you have had any dream where they stole your bag or they snatch anything from you, this is the time now for you to demand for remedy and to demand for compensation. When the enemies attack, they have a very clear agenda, what they want to achieve. They want to damage, they want to destroy, they want to rob or steal. They want to deprive us of the blessings of God. Now look at a typical example of the enemy's attack, which I showed you on Friday night in Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51. Look at verse 34. This was Judah that was crying this by the prophecy of Jeremiah. He said, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had devoured me. He had crushed me. That's damage. He has made me an empty vessel, which means before Nebuchadnezzar came, I was a vessel full of content, full of a lot of good things. But when he came, he removed all the contents. He removed all the things inside my life. He said, he has made me an empty vessel. He has swallowed me up like a dragon. He had filled his belly with my delicates and then cast me out. If you now go and fight against Nebuchadnezzar, and you just destroy him and fight against him and bomb him and do all those operations, and then what of those things is swallowed? There must be compensation. You must recover back everything he has taken away from you. That is how it should be. Verse 35. He said, the violence done to me. Do you see that? The enemies, they use violence. When they attack, they use violence. And that's why when you are going to fight back, you require violence. And when you are going to demand for compensation, you must apply violence. So he said, the violence done to me and to my flesh be up. They even attacked the flesh. So it's not just only the substance, the delicates that is swallowed. He even attacked the body also. The enemy sometimes will attack the health. And then we cry unto God, Lord, heal me. And God will heal us. And we think that it should end there. No. There must be remedy. There must be compensation. Something must be done. So he said, even the one they did to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea. Because when they came to attack Jerusalem and Judah, they killed a lot of people. Because they used violence. They slaughtered a lot of them. So he said, those blood cannot just go like that. There must be a compensation for them. Jerusalem says, verse 36, therefore, thus saith the Lord. You know, when Jerusalem was crying all these things, the Lord now answered. He said, behold, I will plead thy cause. He said, I will do judgment for you. Do you see that now? He said, don't worry, Jerusalem, I will do judgment for you. How is God going to do it? I will take vengeance for you, and I will dry up her sea. That is warfare. Say the first thing I will do, because that's where her strength, her power lies. The kingdom that will control Babylon is situated in the waters. He said, I will first dry up their power base and make her springs dry. Verse 44. And I will punish Baal in Babylon, and I will bring forth, take note of this, out of his mouth that which he has. That's compensation. So he said, you know, Jerusalem was crying. He said, he has crushed me, he has devoured me, he has swallowed me up, and so on. He has filled his belly with my delicates. The Lord said, there's going to be a compensation. I will collect everything back. Say, I will get everything out of his mouth, and the nations shall not flow together anymore unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. So, brethren, when the enemies attack you and you fight back, whether you defeat the enemy or whatsoever happen, always target the compensation. Make sure you don't just walk away like that. Always look for the remedy, because whatsoever they have damaged, they must be repaired. So you can see now that the agenda of this attack, when Babylon came upon Jerusalem, was to crush Jerusalem, was to swallow every delicacy in Jerusalem, was to empty Jerusalem completely. So if you fight back and crush them and grind them, what about those things they have swallowed? What about the lives that have been lost? You see that the battle will not be complete until you recover everything they swallowed. Not only that, plus remedy, plus compensation. And see how the Bible puts it. See how the Bible puts it. In Job chapter 20. You remember the case of Job very well. And you know the story of Job. That Job was at peace. Job was just doing his business. Job was just minding his family. And then suddenly, Satan just took interest in him. And Satan started to pester God to release Job for destruction. And he kept going to God and kept lying and using all kinds of wicked languages until God permitted him. And immediately God permitted Satan, he started to destroy Job. Destroyed all his children, destroyed his business, destroyed his health, destroyed everything, and reduced him to nothing. Now look at this. Job chapter 20, look at verse 15. Look at verse 15. He has swallowed down riches. Job say, I can identify all those my wealth, all those camels, and all those my businesses that just disappeared overnight. Is somebody that swallowed them. He said he has swallowed down riches. And what is going to happen? shall vomit them again. God shall cast them out of his belly. Verse 18. That which he labored for, that is the one he swallowed. The one he swallowed, he said, God will cast those ones out. God will get everything out of his belly. But 18 says something. That which he labored for shall he restore. That is the remedy. That's what you call restoration. Restitution, if you like. So if you see, he says that everything he has labored for. Because all his labor, the labor of Satan was not just only on Job. He had other victims all over the world. He said all those labor, everywhere he has been collecting things from people, he will restore them. That's what you call compensation. And shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be. What does that mean? Which means if he took only maybe 1,000 pounds from Job, and then in his house he has over 1 million, he said everything he has in his house will go for compensation. According to his substance, everything he owns that's attached to his name shall go for compensation. Now, you can see the Bible. And he shall not rejoice therein. Verse 19. Because he has oppressed and has forsaken the poor, because he has violently taken away. Do you see that? The enemy is attacking us. We don't know the level of violence they insert upon us. We don't understand because it happens spiritually. We don't know the volume of violence that they put in place against us. He said they have violently taken away an house. All this is we are doing. You might not understand that you are building a spiritual house. You are building a glorious house. You are building a destiny house. He says sometimes the enemy can come upon us and take away everything. He said they have taken away a house which he builded not. Everything, look at us. We will build and build. Every month you build this way. Every year we build this direction. We build and build and build. Things that shouldn't take us much long to complete. Things that should manifest immediately. But the more we build, the more they take away. He said they have taken away what they did not build. Verse 20. He said, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. And how is he not going to feel quietness? If we fight. If we give him violence. That's how they are not going to feel quietness in their belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. 21. There shall none of his meat be left. He said even the food that he eats. He said we are going to take everything away for compensation. Not even one meat, one food will be left for them. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Say this, because he has used violence against people and he has attacked us with violence, he said we should also, because that is the law of remedy and compensation. He has attacked us with violence. Every other person around should direct violence against him. Verse 23. When he's about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. This is the direction of prayer we don't pray often. And he said, God shall rain it upon him while he's eating. Verse 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So when he begins to experience something like this, he will restitute everything. He will give back even what he did not steal. 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. When you want to demand for remedy and compensation from the enemies, brethren, you involve both the heavens and the earth. You involve everything that be. The elements, they have to be part of the warfare. Verse 28. The increase of his house shall depart. Which means every good thing in his house must go away. Everything will go for compensation. And his goods shall flow away in the days of his wrath. Verse 29 now says something. He said, this is the portion of a wicked man from... He said, this is how God deals with them. So what we are talking about is not our own invention. It's how God designed it. And who is going to execute it? The children of God, the people of God that know the word of God. We are the ones that to bring it to manifestation. He said, this is how God designed it, and the heritage appointed unto him by God. If you know when Job finished saying these things, and Job went through everything he went through, the Bible in chapter 42 said something. He said that Job now got double portion. He got another set of children. He got all his animal double. He got everything he lost double, and so on, even money and all those. He got everything double. That's compensation, isn't it? That's compensation. But the compensation came from God. The compensation came from God. Job was entitled to double compensation. Job was entitled to collect compensation from God and collect from Satan. Because it was God that handed him over to Satan. So God has paid his own compensation. But Job didn't demand for his compensation from Satan that attacked him. So Satan went away free. Satan went away free. He will not go away free in your own case. He must restitute. He must bring back everything. Even everything that he did not even steal from you. That he stole from generations unborn. He will give all of them to you. So you can see that this is God's law. It's God's law. And it's entrenched in the laws of God. In fact, when God brought Israel out of Egypt and he started to give them law in the wilderness, this was the first thing the Lord set up. This law of restitution, the law of atonement, or the law of remedy and compensation. Those were the first thing. Look at Exodus 21. Because Israel came out of Egypt in Exodus 14. By the time you get to Exodus 21, even before 21, he has started to talk to them already about this matter. Look at what he said in verse 1. He said, now, these are the judgments. Brethren, what we are talking about is judgment. And it's God's own judgment. His judgment from heaven. And it's a righteous judgment. He said, these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. The children of Israel. Before who? Before the church. The first church in the wilderness. The Old Testament church. Which the New Testament church should follow immediately. Now look at what he said. What is the judgment? Verse 12. Verse 12. He that smiteth a man, that is, if you hit somebody, so that he die, shall be surely, that is the remedy. If you hit anybody and that person dies, they will kill the person also. Look at verse 16. He that stealeth a man and selleth him, kidnappers that steal people and sell them, slave traders. He that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, what happened? That's the remedy. Because he has put somebody's life in a serious danger, in a serious risk. A operation he carry out, attack against that life, to grab that person, sell the person, has altered the destiny of that person forever. Has tampered with the destiny because the person is now a slave and carries the emblem and the stigma of a slave forever. And slaves are limited in what their destiny can do in life. Do you now see why the remedy is death? The remedy is death. Let's continue. Verse 18. And if men strive together, if two men are fighting, and one smite another with a stone, or with his fist, and he die not, you hit that person with stone, or with any object, or with your fist, and he did not die. But he kept his bed, he was wounded, he was injured, and remained bedridden for a while. Verse 19, if he rise again, if he recovers, and start to go back to work again, upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall do what? He shall pay for the loss of his time. Is that not where injury lawyers came out from? He will pay for his lost time. That's what you call compensation, remedy, tort law. You have to pay for it. They calculate how many days couldn't he go to work, how many days was he bedridden, and all those things, and he will pay for it. So it's not just enough that, well, thank God he didn't kill me. Thank God I'm back on my feet. Thank God I'm back to work. No, he has to pay for the lost time. All this time that you're supposed to have received the miracles of God. All the promises of God that you're supposed to be enjoying by now. And then some powers attacked it. And they blocked you. And they sat upon it. They will pay for that time. That's what the Bible says. They must pay for it. And not only that, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. You pay also for the medical treatment. You pay for the treatment. Make sure he's thoroughly healed. Verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, If men are fighting and then they hurt a pregnant woman, and the woman has miscarriage, and yet no mischief followed, the woman didn't die, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon. This one is the woman's husband that will determine the punishment. Says the woman's husband that would. So do you see that, brethren, that it's in your hand? There are so many things that you will determine the punishment today. And he shall pay as the judge determine. Verse 23. And if any mischief follow, if for example the woman dies, then thou shalt give life for life. Life for life. 24. Eye for eye. Tooth for tooth. Hand for hand. Foot for foot. Burning for burning. Wound for wound. Stripe for stripe. So it's not just enough that, well, they attacked me, thank God I survived it, I escaped. No. You have to go back and insist on these remedies. They must pay for it. Verse 26. If a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. Sometimes they might say, well, they are the foundational strong man, and you belong to them, ownership. That because he's the strong man, everybody born in that family is their property. So whatsoever they do to you is free. They can't be charged for it. You say, okay, if that's the case, then if the person is a servant and you do anything to that servant, something perish in the life of that servant, then that servant is now entitled to freedom. They must let you go. That's the remedy. Verse 28. If an ox gore a man or a woman, that they die. Many times animals attack us. In the dream, in the spiritual, different kinds of animal attack. And people will just wake up and say, thank God it's dream. So if animals attack anybody, look at what the Bible says. That person dies, then the ox shall be surely stoned. So you have to kill the animal, and his flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be quit. They will discharge the man. Verse 29. But if the ox were wound to push with in the horn in the time passes. So if that ox, that animal, has been attacking before, you have been seeing that animal constantly in the dream. You have been encountering that serpent not once, not twice. If he has been attacking before, and the owners of that animal did not do anything, and it has been testified to his owner, and the owners did not do anything, they did not keep him in, but that he has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and the owner also shall be put to death. That's the remedy. Verse 30. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Whether he have got a son or has got a daughter, according to his judgment shall be done unto him. Verse 32. If an ox shall push a man's servant or a maid's servant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man shall open a pit, take note of this, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein. This one is common. In the place of work, they tidy everywhere. They tell you health and safety. Health and don't allow water to pour on the floor so that somebody will not deliberately get there and fall down and say that you have broken his leg, because they know what is compensation. So you see where the law originated from. It's from the Bible. So if you dig a pit and somebody come there, even animal, fall into that pit. Verse 34. The owner of the pit shall make it good. That's what you call restitution. That's what you call compensation. Making it good. And he will give money unto the owners of them, and the dead beast shall be his. He will buy a dead animal by force. Verse 35. And if one man's ox hurt another, if it's animal against animal, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. So person has one animal, the other person has animal, two of the animal they fought and killed each other, or one killed the other one. The live animal you will sell it and share the money. The dead animal you cut it into two, share it. Which was where Solomon derived his judgment from. Verse 36. Or if it be known that the ox has used to push in time past, and his owner had not kept him in, he shall surely pay for ox, and the dead shall be his own. So this is now one part of then this is issue of this judgment and law was so serious that God spent so much time to spell it out for Moses. Look at Exodus 22, because it still continued. Exodus 22, look at verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore, you are not yet there, he shall restore 5 for an ox. Do you see compensation, how it works? You see how they calculate it in the Bible. So it's not enough that they just come, snatch your bag, and then you fight and fight in prayer and recover your bag. No, you should go back and collect 5 more bags and check the bag, what they contain. So he said that 5 ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Verse 2. If a thief be found breaking up, and he be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. So you are free to kill a thief. No blood will be shed for that thief. Verse 3. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution if he have nothing. If sun rise upon the thief, and the thief has nothing at home, maybe he's a poor thief, the Bible says that is not excuse. He will still make what? Full restitution. If he have nothing, if the thief, they check his house, nothing there, then what happens to the thief? They will have to sell him. Do you see the scriptures? You see the law of restitution and compensation. So you have the right to sell the powers that steal from you. If they have nothing to pay back, you sell them. Verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. So you don't just collect it and say, give me my thing back. No, he has to pay double. Because he has nothing. No, that's because he has nothing. He must still pay double. Where he's going to get the double from is his personal problem. Verse 5. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard, he shall make restitution. You deploy your animals to people's farm, and they eat up everything. He will make restitution. If fire break out, and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn, or the standing corn of the field, be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. Do you see the laws of God? But unfortunately, brethren, Christians are not enforcing this. We don't enforce this enough. In our prayers, in our operations, we don't enforce this enough. Sometimes we just pursue after what they stole from us, collect it, and that's it, we go home. The Bible says that if a thief be caught, he shall restore back sevenfold. Sevenfold. As his substance, so shall be his restitution. Everything in his house shall be taken away. And this is biblical compensation scheme. For injury, for damages, for destruction, for death, for anything, set up by Jehovah God himself. So what we are going to do here today is righteous. What we are going to do here today is scriptural. What we are going to do is set up by God himself. And so heaven is backing us. So we are going to close our eyes now. Because today is the day of remedy. And today is the day of compensation. And you shall recover manifold, many fold of that which the enemies are taking away from you. Let's close our eyes and begin to talk to the Lord. Let's say, my God and my Father, everything that I did, that I caused it by myself, that exposed me to the enemies, to attack me and prosper and spoil me and damage things in my life, I am so sorry, Lord.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.